Cinema relies on montage, clashing frames to create meaning. But there is an opposing path, the spatial continuity of the unbroken camera take. Historically, this was a technical workaround. Early continuous shot filmmaking was designed to preserve a unified dramatic space, keeping the audience locked in a specific location to build a sense of physical suspense. Alfred Hitchcock was a pioneer in navigating these physical constraints. In the 1940s, film reels were limited to roughly 10 minutes, forcing him to hide his edits behind furniture or the backs of actors to maintain the illusion of a single take. Today, digital sensors have removed those physical boundaries. Infinite recording capacities have shifted the one shot away from a spectacle of necessity and towards its use as an ontological tool. Without the edit, a filmmaker must rely entirely on physical choreography. They use mise-en-scène and careful blocking to guide the viewer's eye through a cinematic space that never resets. This refusal to cut demands a new kind of cinematic grammar. It tests the boundaries of objective realism and forces the audience to confront the nature of subjective time. The modern one-shot functions as a philosophical apparatus. It can be used to enforce ethical observation or to manipulate the fabric of cinematic time itself. Modern continuous take filmmaking is categorized into two distinct methods, actual and simulated. In a simulated one-shot, filmmakers stitch long takes together, hiding seams using whip pans or moments of total darkness. The actual one-shot is a different logistical reality, where the camera rolls from the beginning to the end without a single stop. Regardless of the method, the narrative objective is the same, to provide the audience with unbroken spatial continuity. Shooting an actual one-shot means working without a safety net. There's no editorial coverage to fall back on if a mistake happens. Instead of editing, meaning is created entirely through the physical choreography of the camera moving continuously through space alongside the performers. This requires total integration. Crews spend weeks building the muscle memory needed to synchronize actors, lighting cues, and the precise path of the camera operator. This technical discipline proves that the continuous shot is a highly manipulated environment. Every physical movement is permanent, and every frame carries immense theoretical weight. The 2025 series Adolescence applies the actual one-shot to achieve a specific kind of socio-psychological realism. The series is divided into 4 episodes, each filmed as a genuine, uninterrupted single take. The narrative discards the traditional mystery format. Since we know from the start that the protagonist has been arrested for murder, the series shifts its focus away from who and toward why. The creators designed these episodes to mirror the locked-in experience of live theater. Once the camera starts, the viewer cannot escape the unfolding reality. Conventional television uses editing to relieve narrative tension. It offers explanatory montages or editorial shortcuts to give the audience a moment to breathe. Adolescence removes those exits, establishing what we can call the ethics of attention. Standard editing gives filmmakers the power to cut away from moments of extreme discomfort, intervening to curate the emotional burden. Adolescence rejects that editorial privilege, forcing the audience to endure fear, confusion, and guilt alongside the characters without any visual reprieve. The show avoids familiar explanations like broken homes or abusive parents. By removing those tropes, the creators force a more complex empathy from the viewer. This aligns with Andre Bazin's theory of cinematic realism, which argues that preserving spatial integrity allows for a more authentic experience of reality. Adolescence uses the long take to preserve the ambiguity of reality, refusing to fragment the narrative into simple moral pieces. Because it strictly refuses to cut, the camera acts as a moral witness, making the viewer complicit in the psychological reality of the characters. We see a different theoretical goal in Daigo Matsui's film, Ice Cream and the Sound of Raindrops. Matsui captured a complex narrative in a genuine 74-minute single take. His work challenges the idea that an unbroken camera take is inherently locked to a real-time chronological narrative. While Adolescence follows a strict one-to-one reality, Matsui's film spans several weeks of narrative time within its single, uncut shot. Matsui uses the camera's movement through physical space to leap across the calendar. Title cards and live musical performances signal massive shifts in time, while the camera records without interruption. Returning to a previous location weeks later demonstrates spatial continuity, completely decoupled from temporal continuity. The film collapses the boundaries between the actors, their characters, and the genuine reality of the filmmaking process. This is a direct application of Gilles Deleuze's concept of the time image. The film stops trying to represent chronological events. Instead, it presents a direct, subjective, and emotional experience of time. Matsui merges the live presence of theater with the recorded permanence of cinema, untethering the long take from objective real time. Placing these two models side by side reveals how the one-shot adapts to serve different philosophical needs. Adolescence uses a timeline locked with reality to enforce ethical observation. Ice Cream expands and compresses that same timeline to explore the boundaries of reality and memory. Early film theorists like Sergei Eisenstein argued that cinematic meaning is born from the collision of montage, the space between shots. Continuous cinema challenges this by generating meaning entirely within the unbroken duration of a single shot. The absence of montage does not mean an absence of narrative manipulation. The contemporary one-shot is a mode of thinking, a philosophical argument that how a camera observes a subject is inseparable from what the film means.